Hello, welcome or welcome back to the YarnNYarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet and weaving. Today's video is day 11 of our 12 cast on adventure. If for some reason you're finding the channel for the first time, then you might be wondering what on earth I'm talking about. Each year, usually between Christmas and New Year, though I had a late start, I cast on 12 projects on 12 consecutive days, if I can. Again, this year didn't quite go to plan, to set myself up for my year's worth of making, and you are joining us on day 11 of that adventure. So I'll put a link to the whole playlist up above, just in case you want to hop back and watch from day one. For those of you who have been following along for the full journey, welcome back. We're almost at the end. Can you believe it? I can't. It's a beautiful sunny day here in South Wales today. The skies are blue. I think it's going to be quite nippy out there, but yeah, the sun is shining. I'm hoping we might get to take some knitting outside today. We shall see what the dice have in store. It depends what we get to cast on today. Before I do my dice roll, as I have been trying to do, I am wearing my Funfetti sweater today. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern by the lovely Sylvia Watts-Cherry. This was featured in an issue of Liner magazine. Was it Liner magazine or was it a Liner book? I think it was Liner magazine. And I happily test knit this for Sylvia. Sylvia's version was in some lovely bright colours. I used a similar colour palette, but I went for slightly more muted tones, and I just love this sweater. It's really warm and cosy, and it was a super easy knit. If you've not come across Sylvia Watts-Cherry before, please do check out her patterns. I've knit quite a few of them now, and they all, for me, they just fit wonderfully, and yeah, her designs are just so lovely. Sweater chat over, let's get on to rolling the dice for the day, and we'll see what we have in store for our 11th cast on. Okay, so the dice, number 2 came up. Number 2 is a Christmas tree, which is a little bit redundant now we're halfway through January. But I did use these advent stickers, and I know from my sort of planning of these that this is going to be something a bit more specific. Some of the low numbers were specific projects, some of the high numbers were things that were a little bit more random or might require a little bit more thought. So yeah, I have no idea what's on here, but we shall reveal together. Okay, Christmas socks, finally, day 11. And I finally get to cast on some socks, and actually that is super serendipitous. I think the dice have really done me a favour again, because as I say, it's a beautiful sunny day out there, and a one skein project, a sock project, is something that if it's not too windy I can easily cast on outside. So yay, so excited. The idea behind the Christmas socks specifically is that over the last several years I have been collecting the seasonal colourways from West Yorkshire spinners. Every year, I think for the last 5 or 6 years, they've brought out a sort of Christmassy or a wintry colourway, and my intention was always to knit myself a pair of socks in each of these colourways, and I have been collecting them, and I have so far only managed to knit myself a pair of Hollyberry socks. I have knit with the Silent Night colourway, and I also knit with the, what was the self-striping sparkly one? Was that Vintage Lights? I can't remember what it was called, but both of those pairs of socks I knit for other people, and I've got the leftovers in my little leftover stash, because I should be able to knit myself a pair of socks with each of those. Eventually I want to work through all of those colours, but I think for this cast on, even though the sensible thing would be to use one of those little balls of leftovers that I've got, because I've already knit those, even though I don't have them in my own sock collection, they're not calling to me as much. What I really want to do is cast on with the gingerbread colourway, which is the colour that they released last winter. So that's what I'm going to do. And just a little bit of shameless self-promotion, I do have a couple of skeins, I think maybe 2 balls of this left in the YarnNYarns shop. So if you like the look of this colourway and you want to snag one of the last balls that I've got left, there is still some in the shop, and you'll find a link to the YarnNYarns web shop below. But anyway, that's a bit of a by the by. I'm going to wind this up. I always rewind my yarns even when they come in, you know, balls like this, because I just like the way that a cake of yarn wound on my ball winder sits better than the way that these kind of unravel. So yeah, I'm going to quickly rewind that into a cake and we'll get outside. I feel like, because it's sunny but it's probably going to be cold, I might take a stroll down to the seafront. I might treat myself to a hot chocolate, cast on, and then maybe a little walk along the beach. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get outside and enjoy the sunshine.
Such a rush with you. Driving from the beach in an old blue Benz, you're sitting in the back, laughing with your friend. Caught a glimpse of you underneath the moon. Now it's in my head, all that I can see is you. All I can see is you. I see it's true. Everything I do from now, I do it for you. All of the things that I used to be are pictures on my wall for everyone to see. All of the words that I mean to use are trapped inside my head. Instead, I sing them for you. I sing them for you. Uh-oh, you're gone.
It's 5 p.m. and I've been working this afternoon, so I've been able to knit a little bit on and off after my cast on party at the beach this morning, and I have the cuff of a sock. It's the joy of a vanilla sock, isn't it, or just any sock, that it's small, it's portable, and you can pick it up and put it down whenever you want. So I've added a few stitches here and there between work tasks or while I've been waiting for things to happen on the computer, or if I just needed a minute to think about what I was up to. So I have now finished my work day, and yeah, I'm just going to see how much I can get done this evening. I will be sure to check in tomorrow, which you will see in just a bit, to let you know how far I get with my gingerbread sock. I hope you enjoyed a little outing to the beach with me yesterday. I certainly enjoyed sitting in the sunshine. It was so warm in the sunshine, as long as you could find a little escape from the breeze. It is now Tuesday morning, of course, and before I check in with where I got to on my socks yesterday, it is, as always, time to share with you the wonderful inspiration from our community, and there's tons of it again. I'm just so in awe of you casting on all of these wonderful things. Gemma said that she has finished her brioche cowl and has started 2 pairs of socks, one scattered pearls sock and a second pair of socks from some self-striping yarn. She said that she's been sorting out some of her older indie dyed purchases in the hopes of casting them on, and I think that the self-striping yarn was one of those older skeins, which I love, giving some of the long neglected stash a little bit of love and attention. Tracy has cast on her 6th project, which is the New Haven, which is a Gansey sweater, and she said this year is going to be quite sweater heavy for her as she tries to work through her stash. Pamela had a little bit of a tale of woe. She's been puppy sitting for a little husky, and she said it was her own fault. She left some of her yarn out and came home to a little bit of a mess. I think any of us pet owners have all been there, haven't we? But Pamela said despite the chaos, she worked on some of her works in progress, has started a dishcloth and also an embroidery, which I think might be our first embroidered cast on. And she said she's using a free pattern from the Lemon Made shop. Sharon is a new-ish subscriber, she said, and she's not joined in the cast on party, but she just wanted to say hello, so I just thought I'd say hello to you back, Sharon. Welcome. You are most welcome here, whether you are casting on with us or just joining in the fun with moral support and working on your works in progress. We are happy to have you here. Mairead has cast on her 12th and final project, which is a duet tee, and she said that it's been in her queue for a little while, so she's really happy to have that on the needles. Brianna has cast on a JoJo cardigan, which is going to be a gift for her father. Mary has started a Frenchman's Bay cape, and she says she's using some lovely alpaca yarn, which was from a friend's D-stash. Nicola is also a new-ish subscriber. She said she started watching during Vlogmas and has decided to join in with the 12 cast-ons. So again, you're most welcome to the cast-on party, Nicola. And so far, Nicola has cast on a flax sweater for her nephew, a cowl for her aunt, a cowl for her mum, a shawl for another aunt, and some shorty socks for her dad. So I hope you also find some time to cast on something for yourself, Nicola, amongst all of those wonderful gift knits. Kathy said that she was inspired to cast on a spell tass after seeing that back in my sort of Christmas in July makings. It's a beautiful wrap, and actually I was wearing mine yesterday out on the beach, although you may not have seen it tucked under my coat. Deb said she's still working with gusto on her charity projects, but also her granddaughter let her know that she has a naked Barbie doll. So that was a subtle hint for a new Barbie outfit. So Deb's going to be casting that on, and because she's making something for her granddaughter, she also has to make something for her grandson. So has cast on a Pokemon and also a cable cardigan for herself from some handspun, which I'm really happy to hear, Deb. After all your charity makes, you certainly deserve to cast on something for yourself. And she has cast on the Oban by Thea Coleman. Louise said she's also decided to join in the cast-ons and is now quite addicted to casting on. You are in great company here, Louise. And so far, Louise has started some double knit socks, a 3-colour cashmere cowl, a hat and mitts, morning coffee socks, and a big cosy cardie, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. And she said she's spinning from her own hand-dyed fibre to eventually make a shawl, and also has started combing a Jacob fleece. So yeah, I love to hear about all the fibre prep going on out there. So thank you for sharing all of your lovely projects, Louise. Shauna has cast on a slumber cow, which is a pattern by Stephen West, and she said she had the yarn handy which was left over from a previous project, and she said it was within reach, and so it was what she could cast on because she's not well at the moment. So I hope you get well again soon, Shauna. I hope the dreaded virus passes quickly for you. Angela has started a Highland cowl head. Now, I don't know, this might be one of the most fun projects that's ever been started for our 12 cast on make-alongs. I don't know if you've ever seen the patterns by Sincerely Louise. They're kind of like animal heads that you kind of mount and stick on the wall as a bit of fun. And so Angela has started a Highland cow. Penny of Penny Baker Knits has started some warm milk socks, and they are one of Penny's own patterns. Penny has some beautiful shawl and sock patterns. I'll try and remember to link Penny's Ravelry designer page below. She also said she is thinking about starting a temperature blanket, but she is not sure because she's got other blankets on the needles. I mean, blankets don't even count as works in progress, do they? So I'd say cast on, Penny, get started. Jane, who started her cardigan yesterday after saying she wasn't going to join in, said that yesterday she managed to finish 2 works in progress and also frogged another work in progress. So she decided to celebrate with another cast on. So she's got a second cardigan on the needles for herself and is also thinking about casting on a baby shawl. Julianne has started the Harvest cardigan, which is going to be for her sister. Nina of This Old Knits podcast has finished doing her random pattern magazine selection and has picked 2 patterns, one from Making magazine, and she'll be knitting some Arctic owl mitts, which will be for her son. And she's also picked out a pom-pom magazine, and it's the pom-pom anniversary. Was that the 10-year anniversary? I can't remember. I remember the anniversary issue though, because it had that fabulous yellow cable cardigan on the front. And Nina said that she's casting on some bonbon mitts from that, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. She said there were several sweaters in that issue that she also wanted to cast on, but she's trying to sort of be a little bit sensible and rein things in a bit. I completely understand. I totally remember that issue of Pom Pom and thinking at the time that I could happily knit everything from that issue. Anne of the No Excuses Knitting podcast said that she is thinking about casting on a Fair Isle hot water bottle cover, and I think that might be inspired by the fact that we've had a few of those being cast on by other members of our community as part of the cast on party. Beverly said that she's desperate to cast on a Ridari sweater for her husband, but the Plutalope that she needs is out of stock, so she's waiting for it to come back in stock. And I feel your pain, Beverly, because I have got the Caribou sweater in my pattern library, which the pattern was kindly gifted to me by a lovely friend, and I would like to cast that on as well. But the colour that I want for the main body of the sweater has been out of stock in Plutalope for ages, so I hope that I might be able to get my hands on that at some point this year. It was a outsider for this year's 12 cast-ons to go onto like my prompts list, but sadly the yarn has not been in stock for the last few months, so yeah, not to be this time. Okay, in terms of my progress, I don't think I mentioned, although I might have shown a couple of shots of it, I decided to pick out this lovely gnome bag from my project bag stash. I purchased this from the Curly Emma Etsy shop, and this is where I'm keeping my gingerbread sock, and I made some decent progress. I definitely could have made more, but again, I'm trying to make sure that I take lots of breaks for my hands because I want to make sure that I'm able to knit for the entire year, not just for this cast on extravaganza. So here is my sock progress, and I'm just loving this colourway. I really do love it. I know a few people were a bit disappointed with this year's gingerbread colourway, but obviously it's got that rusty orange in it, which I'm always going to fall for, and I love the contrast of the red and the green sort of self-patterned stripes through it. I really like it. I think last time I checked in yesterday evening I'd finished the cuff, so while we were watching TV and having dinner and stuff like that, I sort of worked on this on and off, and I've managed to knit what is about half a leg for me. I don't tend to do a really long leg sock because if I go too long then I have to start thinking about putting in shaping for my calf, so I tend to stick to a reasonably short leg. Not super short, but you know, not as long as a lot of people make. So yeah, I'm about halfway through before I would need to pop in some sort of marking for the heel. I will probably put in some waste yarn and do a afterthought heel, I think, because I'm using the self-striping and I like to try and make my socks as matchy as possible. But I do try to start my socks in the same place each time, and the way that I do that is by casting on at the join between one colour and another. So you might be able to see here I've got one line of green and then it goes straight into the rusty orange. So if I cast on in the same place, then my socks are as matchy as I can possibly get them. So yes, that is the end of day 11, and I'm really thrilled that I got at least one pair of socks on the needles. Obviously we've got one more day to go yet, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. But yeah, in the meantime, please do continue to let me know what you're working on and what you're casting on, and I shall be back again for day 12, the last day, tomorrow. So I hope you will join me for that one. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now. Bye.